Good afternoon. This is David Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire, and we're pleased to have you with us for another video. After I did my videos the other day on bugging out, I got some questions, and people were interested because I said that I'm not going to bug out, I'm going to bug in if possible. And people said, I know that it would be opening your home and your life personally to your viewers. That's okay with me. So they said, and I've had 3 or 4 questions, could I show what we do for bugging in and what changes are we making and do we still have to make. So what I want to do today is go over some things. Now, the first thing that people ask about when they're bugging in, of course, is food. That is the biggest concern, food and water. Well, without going into a lot of water, let me say again, I've got 2 Katadyn filters that will do 24,000 gallons of water between the two, and that will last our family, even though we have 11 or 12 here, for quite a long time. We also have a natural spring available to us, as well as we have a well house. We get all of our water by well, and in the near future, when we allocate the funds for that, we're going to put a hand pump on that well so that we have availability even if electric goes off to our water. The second question that comes up then is food. What do you do about food? Now, I want to show you some of the things that we set aside, and of course what we do is duplicate items. When we go to the grocery store each week, we set aside $20 or $30, maybe $40 depending, on excess food that we simply stock in our pantry. These are foods that we eat every day. People make a big mistake because what they want to do is go out and buy food that they never use. And you're going to find out in an emergency situation that your family might not like that, and you might have a revolution on your hands. So what we do is we buy food that we use all the time. We date everything on the tops of the food. You can see this was just done in August 2nd. And then we rotate our food pantries. Now what I'm about to show you today is all the food we have in our house. So if 1,400 of you subscribers think you're going to come down and eat, this is it. That's all we have. So think twice before you come bugging in over here. No, seriously, I'm not going to show you our stash. I'm not going to tell you how much we have, but just give you some ideas of how we've prepared. Now the first thing that we do is Tam cans. She cans a lot of things out of the garden, and we're going to show you the garden in a little bit on this video. These are some carrots that she did August the 18th. I'm going to set things aside after I show you. Some pickles, some green beans. These were done in the middle of August. And then this is lamb's quarter and poke. We not only utilize the garden, we also utilize natural sources of food all around us. And I'm going to get more to that in a little bit on this video. We got some more pickles. These are spears. So canning is a good way to put things up. Now we went out and we got a canner just this year, and I think it was about $60. It was a great deal on a pressure canner, and it's a nice big one. I think it's a 12-quart canner which holds up to 7 quarts. It's called a 12-quart. That's how much water it holds. But it will hold 7 quart bottles or 9, I think, pint bottles. So it's a good sized canner. Can your own food if you can. If you have a garden, get the canning out, either can it or dry it. And Tam's going to go over drying in another video. She's already mentioned it in one video and showed you a way that we actually dry some foods. But we're going to go over that in another video as well, how to dry some different foods, including meats and different things that you may eat. The next thing that we do is we go to a bulk store and we buy things very inexpensively. This is 5 pounds of flour, actually 5.5 pounds, for $2.44. What we'll do, and we just bought these today, so they're not yet packaged. I wanted to show them to you in their native packaging, is she'll take these out of here and put either in Ziplocs or in bottles, just old soda bottles. And what she can do when she does these, she'll stick these in the bottle, pour it in there with the funnel. She will then put this into the freezer, leave it in the freezer for a few days, mark the bottle as to the date, and put it away. You say, why in the freezer? Well, that kills any parasites that are inside of the flour, or inside of macaroni, or inside of any other kind of dried vegetables or beans, rice. So if you stick them in these containers, we have a big freezer that we can stick these things in, then you can take them out, store them, and there won't be any problem with insect infestation. Another thing that we buy is our family eats a lot of macaroni, so she buys elbow macaroni, spaghetti, and again she'll do the same thing with each of these things, either in canning jars or else in Ziploc bags or else in bottles. We buy a lot of dried peas. These are beans. These are northern beans, I think, great northern white beans. And then we also buy red beans, all sorts of different beans, grains, everything like that will store for many, many years under the right conditions. So these are things you want to put, but you don't want to put your food away again and forget about it. You want to stock your shelves and rotate. Use things that you would use in everyday life. Another thing that we use a lot of are potatoes. And Tam's already showed you, we use two different kinds. These are actually dehydrated or dried potato slices. You can see this will feed our family one meal, 93 cents. Not bad to stock up. They're pretty lightweight, so they're easy to put away. But we also use the potatoes, dried potatoes, as she went over in a different video. You can use these like this in a box, or they also come in a bag. Same price, same weight. But they're a little easier to store sometimes if they're inside this bag, because these bags will just lay out and flatten to the shape that you want it. So it stays nice. You can stack them between different things. Dried potatoes, another good thing that you want to keep on hand. And finally, another staple that we use a lot is dried rice. This is $26 for a 50-pound bag of rice. Pretty decent price. And again, we utilize this every day in our lives. We don't eat rice every day, but you know, we utilize this regularly in our diets. So Tam will put this into containers. She will go ahead and change those containers as the dates go by. We'll put new stuff away and utilize the old stuff. So basically, putting food away is not any more than eating what you eat every day, just you put a little bit extra. If you buy 1 or 2 extra cans every time you go to the store, pretty soon your larder will be filled up and you'll have plenty to get through any kind of an emergency. You want to prepare for approximately a month to 2 months. I know people talk about putting away food for 6 months, a year. That's fine. We can't do that here. Again, we have 11, 12 people, and there's no way we could buy that much food, and if we did, we'd have to build a whole nother building just to put it all in. So that to me is overkill. We do supplement our food that we stock with wild edibles as well as garden vegetables, so that's a good thing to keep in mind as well. A couple other things we put away, and these are just for fun really. These are some electrolyte beverage mixes. These come, I think there's what, 8 or 10 to a pack, and they're just little individual mixes. This will actually make up 32 ounces of beverage, and then we can split it. It's not really necessary to have that. You could just live off water, but it's always good in an emergency situation to be able to give children especially something that's flavored that will keep them calm and will let them know everything's all right. You don't want to change your lifestyle more than you have to in a crisis situation.